But this realizations, that was just sort of an awakening that there's a larger reality behind our everyday reality that represents a model of existence that's not our mainstream materialistic empirical, again, which is fine all on its own ground, but left on its own ground and left without another consideration begins to beg the question, why are we here? And is there a deeper reason and rhyme, if you like? And astrology very quickly says, oh yes, there is. And it starts to measure that we're souls incarnate. And that we have, even though it says that, I want to qualify that though we are spiritual beings having human experiences, it does remain that entering into the materialist world, the planet, and dealing with the material plane, chop wood, carry water, food, clothing, shelter, it all becomes good. There's nothing wrong with that, right? We have a body, we have to eat, we need to have clothing, we need shelter, we need community, we need all these things. So it's not just dismissing being in the body at all. It just wants to bring forward the idea that being alive, being in the body, being a person who's unique, not just one of the many, not just cattle, not just homogenized. And unique doesn't make you better, but does make you different, and more specifically makes you you. And it celebrates that. That's one of its beautiful things. It celebrates that. So we come into this notion that, therefore, that we're spiritual beings, souls having human experiences. We're souls incarnate. And we can talk about our mental body, our emotional body, an etheric. All of these are bodies, and they're woven within an archetypal intelligence. Archetypal intelligence. You see the images that this sort of psychedelic person is, this, artistic rendition of a human being surrounded by archetypal imagery. That's only one form of archetypal imagery, and it's basically showing what would be the spiral image, the Fibonacci. And what gets rather exciting is, first of all, I've been suggesting if we realize that we're spiritual beings having human experiences, we overcome lapsing into materialism or nihilism, meaning there's no reason, no rhyme, no purpose, big deal. You eat, have another beer, get lost. There's no sense of anything more. Depression, despair, aimlessness, addiction. Do you notice how those are prevalent in society despite all of our technology? And it's because we've lost, we have the opportunity to know that there's more to us and to life, but we have to step beyond the habit of thinking the way we do based on social conditioning. And again, it's not about, being rebels without causes and, being against the establishment. It has nothing to do with that. It just is more of a qualitative introduction to something that suggests there's more. Religions do that, but religions do it with an emotional cloak of sort of a emotionally heated conviction model, which becomes very easy. People within those groups become very easily manipulated. Whereas what astrology does is it celebrates you as individuals, and woven within that is this deep notion that as individuals we want to belong to groups. So it celebrates individuality within collectivity versus everybody being told to do certain things at certain times or in certain ways, which creates a type of mass hypnosis. Do you follow what I'm saying there? Yeah. So we celebrate individuality. So it celebrates this. You are engaged in a creative process simply because you exist. You and I, just by virtue of that we exist at all, we're already in a creative dynamic in our life. Whether we're creating our life, creating dinner, creating relationships, creating careers, creating. It's a beautiful thing. And so we celebrate that in that respect. Now what this incorporates is the use of free will, choice, and creative intelligence, where we bring those forward. In other words, we're not merely in reaction, we're in a proactive process of engaging with life. We're in a very co-creative dynamic, is a way of describing it. Now, what's woven within this, and this is fairly obvious, is that we are inherently responsible for our part, for our participation in this creation, in life. And woven within this is this deep word called karma. So you see, the idea is that as souls incarnate, we're in the world, and it's not just okay to do anything you want. Like, in other words, the law itself says, oh, you can't do certain things. You shouldn't speed on the highway faster than the speed limit. Or you certainly shouldn't use violence against that person over there in any arbitrary manner unless it's very strictly a self-defense moment, right? And there's various laws which uphold this. But karma, there's different levels of karma. Some karmas, what would be the law of physics, push, this happens. So that's a cause-effect, fine. But there's deeper levels of karma. And I can read the karma in the chart. One of the books I'm going to write, this presentation is the umbrella title, first book, What Astrology Can Do for You, but it has a lot of little satellite, smaller books that will emerge. And one of them is basically called The 13 Points of Karma in Your Chart. So in other words, when some people come to me, they want to say, okay, I'm going to give you $100, I want a reading, and give me that best little prediction, and is it accurate? I'm going to say, well, yes, it certainly can be deemed accurate, but what if I just talked all about your difficult karma? And then you'd find, that is true, I have gone through all those things. Now that would be accurate, but it might not be what you want to know. But it can be very helpful to know that. To know one's karma can be very helpful. They go, right, you mean that's all written there? You mean it wasn't just circumstantial? You mean it was more like I was responsible for all those experiences for my own part? It gets a little bit tricky in that territory, but the answer is yes. So this is where it invites being responsible. So, okay, we're, as souls incarnate, we have a life, destiny, and woven within that is a deeper plan, a plan within the greater plan. Our life has a plan in it. And we, in our everyday consciousness, can go about making plans just about where and how we're going to live and whether we're going to go on various, do this or that or go here or there. This is all woven in within our plan, which is very fine. But we can go deeper into the chart and see, what are you really here for? And people come to me for that. They want to know, I'm a good person. I try my best, but sometimes it's called bad luck, or they have just difficult karma, all kinds of things like that. Now, what we're dealing with in the world right now, and I think there's some merit to it. We get a lot of change your brain, and you change your destiny. And I would say, not really. That's like saying, it's almost like saying if I put more RAM in here, I'm going to get cable TV. It's not going to quite work that well. So you can get into, I'm not suggesting that it's not a good idea to follow various health activities, whether you're doing yoga, eating well, exercising, healthy emotions. There's many possibilities of what constitutes health. And there is this whole branch of working with our mind, both literally our brain, there's exercises, but there's also subtler techniques of self-hypnosis where we convince ourselves, I am a good person. Because your attitude can be a problem in terms of thinking, I'm an asshole or something. First time I think that, right? That's going to be called the proverbial shooting yourself in the foot. But so it gets into this realm of psychological, emotional, spiritual, material, and there's a weave. I'll leave that alone for now. The main point is that our life has a deeper purpose, rhyme, reason, destiny, and we, yes, can do this, that, and the other to ameliorate it to the best we can. And there's many possibilities for sure. But invariably, there's a core set of ways of looking at who we are, why we are, who we are, and that understanding can give us a real deep wisdom. That's one of the things it can give you, and it could also give you confidence, it could give you a sense of purpose, etc.